Hey Tekken players, hope you're all doing well. So just a quick bit of housekeeping and we'll get right into it. First of all, thanks so much for all the support in the last video I made for this series. I put these all into a playlist now should you wish to go back and see them, so all the links are below. Just as a reminder, this series is to share some classic knowledge check strings and setups that are quite easy to counter with the right knowledge and a little bit of practice. Also, just another reminder that this is just aimed at new and upcoming players, so please bear that in mind before commenting about the high level detail and mind games, etc. For this video we're going to cover the following: Alisa, Asuka, Leo, Lily, Jack, Kazuya and Nina. I've also been reading the feedback from the comments under the last video and I've taken some of that on board, so this time the text will be bigger and I'll also use narration, so you basically have both options covered. As always, if you find this video helpful then please hit the like button to make sure it gets pushed to other new Tekken players, and if you want to catch the rest of the series please be sure to subscribe. Down forward 112 is a mid-high high string that puts Alisa in her chainsaw stance with a fair bit of chip damage. And given how strong the chainsaws are, this is quite a spamming string abused by Alisa mains. The last hit is a high, so you can duck and launch. Now something just to keep an eye on, she can do down forward 1-4, which is a mid kick, but it's not safe and there's basically no follow up. So the tactic here is to block down forward 1 and then wait to see if the next hit is a kick or a punch. Punish the kick and duck and launch the chainsaw. This isn't too difficult with a bit of practice. One is a high mid string with two follow-ups. 114 is the big low sweep for a knockdown and 113 is a safe mid check. Now luckily the sweep is so slow that this mix-up is actually completely fake. Again, in practice mode just block the 1-1 and if she goes for the mid then this will come out quite quickly, whereas the low sweep is slow and so you can easily duck and punish, pretty much on reaction. Okay, so make sure you're sitting down for this because Leo is the most problematic character on this list. Now the string in question starts with back 1-4. After this Leo can do an unsaved mid launcher, a quick low that retracts for some reason, a high counter hit launcher that will also launch if you try to press any buttons and it also tracks, and then also a big sweeping low. Now just to be clear, you can technically avoid all the options by sidestepping after back 1 before the 4, but in the real world you'll almost never do this online as you have to be super on point to do this consistently. Now in previous games, if your character had particularly strong movement you could actually avoid all of the follow-ups by stepping to the left, and some of the options you can still do this, or you can avoid them if your character has a panic move that has a lot of built-in evasion. But this being Tekken 8, Leo has moves that will now track everyone and counter hit launch if you have any panic moves, so basically all options covered. So we'll look at the mid launcher and the knockdown sweep. Like other strings on this list, with practice you can block the low sweep on reaction because it's quite slow compared to the quick mid. But the fast low you won't be able to see coming, so you'll just have to take the hit. But the damage isn't so bad, so I think this is the best risk reward ratio to be honest. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the video, but I've got to show you one thing, just look at this. So seriously, if you have a look here, of all my viewers, only 8.2% of you are actually subscribed. I mean, seriously guys, what the heck's that all about? I mean, my YouTube channel at the moment brings in about enough money for me to buy one coffee a month, but if some of you would actually hit the subscribe button, that could go all the way up to perhaps 2 coffees a month and possibly even a donut. So come on, you know it makes sense, hit the subscribe button, do it for the orphans. Also, big shout out to my Filipino audience, love you guys. So while standing 1-2-4 string is a 3-hit string where the third hit is always a low and there's no extensions or mix up to this string. So get ready to flash duck after the while standing 1-2. Now it is only -14 and block, so depending on which character you play will determine if it's either best to duck and block punish or go straight for a low parry option. So with Jack, windmills are almost the very definition of a Tekken knowledge check. If you try and do the right thing and block all the hits, the final hit is a guard break for 15 frames, which means basically he can launch you for free. Don't let the old men of Tekken get away with this nonsense. The final hit is always high, so duck and launch punishes are punishment for when they try to do this to you. Kazuya doesn't have many strings that contain a low, but look out for this classic round ender when you don't have much life left. In previous games, if your character had a parry, then even if the low hit you, then you could actually parry the final hit, but in Tekken 8 that's no longer possible due to the nerfs to parries in general. If you main anyone except Kazuya, then you should always low parry the third hit. If you're in a Kazuya mirror match, you probably don't need me to tell you what to do. Can opener is a notorious scrub killer. High, low, high, but if the low hits you then you can't duck or block the high, and you'll get some serious damage and some plus frames. Now this will take some practice to get this into your muscle memory, but you must take Neither into practice mode and get the animation wedged into your brain. If you don't think they'll commit to all 3 hits, then you can low parry the second hit being the low. If however they try to do all 3, then duck the low and the final high and then launch them. Thanks all for watching. As I mentioned before, I do read all my comments even if I don't necessarily respond to all of them directly, so if you have any feedback then please drop it below the video and I'll have a read. I may extend this video series to look at specific characters in more detail. Plan to cover as a minimum Azuzena, Dragunov and Horang, but if there's any other characters you'd like to see then please let me know in the comments. Again, if you want to rewatch the rest of the series, the playlist will appear at the end of this video. Just in case you're interested, I'm going to be live streaming here on YouTube on the weekends where we'll be playing some sub fights. All the details are below in case you're interested or want to come along to join in. Good luck practicing against the knowledge checks everyone, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.